Let's quickly get started. And this is the second webinar in our Freddy Co-pilot Masterclass series. And today we will help you explore some real-world applications and help you deep dive into multiple use cases, especially for our non-IT teams, and also help you understand some industry-specific insights. So a quick introduction into what we have in store today. We will firstly introduce our panels and then talk to you about how you can empower your business teams, that is your non-IT teams, with AI, with everyday productivity and efficiency tools. And then we will move into how you can enable AI for service management across different industries. And we will close with some key takeaways and also help you understand what's coming up in our masterclass series. And finally, we'll open the floor for Q&A, but you don't have to restrict yourself till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A box to ask your questions, and we will keep answering them for you. And we have a packed panel today in addition to our product experts who are also there on board. So firstly, I'm Niharika. I'm from the product marketing team, and I have 3 of my team members joining us as well. So we have Jatin, who is the expert in business teams, and he's going to help you understand how you can manage your non-IT teams, your business teams within Freshservice. And we have Vishal here, who is our industries expert, and he's again here to help you understand how you can enable AI across industries and how it's becoming a priority as well. And we have Anupama here as well. And Anupama and myself, we handle Freddy AI from the product marketing team. We also have the product teams joining us as a part of the panel. So if you have any questions, keep asking them on the Q&A box, and we will answer them for you. So we will get started with helping you understand how you can empower your business teams, that is your non-IT teams, with AI. And we have Jatin here to take you through this. So over to you, Jatin.
Hey, thank you so much, Niharika. Let me share my screen. I'll just take it from you. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
We're good, Jatin.
Great. Hey, a warm welcome to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Today, in this section, we'll explore how Freshservice artificial intelligence capabilities are extending beyond IT, helping numerous organizations streamline service delivery and employee workflows across various business functions. I'd like to begin with giving you a little bit of a broader context on why Freshservice for business teams powered by AI is rapidly becoming a critical lever for a lot of our customers. So our focus on business teams comes from our core purpose of building Freshservice itself to be a tool that empowers organizations to enrich the employee experience. The expectations of a modern employee have evolved significantly in the last few years. So today's employees demand extremely frictionless services at their workplace, whether they are working out of an office space or working remotely or hybrid. The expectations as I mentioned, they've evolved a lot especially since AI has changed the landscape of a lot of enterprise software. With digital interactions rapidly moving towards conversational experience, gone are the days they would deal with clunky UI that comes with the learning curve. They expect processes to be streamlined with minimal manual interventions. They don't want any delays. They want complete predictability of experience when it comes to their day-to-day employee needs. While most IT teams proactively fix this for their IT services, we all understand that employee asks go much beyond IT into functions like HR, facilities, and many other shared services. How is this typically managed in an enterprise or a growing company? Well, an employee first has to worry about the right touch point for their query or requests. Then they use multiple channels and tools to reach out, where the requests often lie in mailboxes, Slack messages, disparate ticketing systems, and sometimes to the extent of employees having to even make phone calls or having to walk to someone's desk to get their requests or queries resolved. Besides, each business teams use multiple applications of their own, and usually the agents dealing with resolving employee requests have to work with these tools to fetch or update information. As an IT leader, why does it matter to you? Well, first of all, service management across different business functions runs in silos, with teams not really having an opportunity to learn from each other about the best practices, such as setting up SLAs, automating different workflows, and so on. Besides, with each team using different tools and applications, leads to a lot of overhead for IT teams to evaluate, configure, and maintain these separate tools and systems. Besides, while solving for IT service management, you're still resolving only a subset of employee requests, leaving the employees pretty clueless and dissatisfied about their non-IT asks. And apart from that, a lot of employee workflows, as we know, such as onboarding, offboarding, relocation, etc., come with a lot of dependencies for IT teams where they'll have to collaborate with other teams such as HR, facilities, and more. Well, with Freshservice, all of this landscape can be completely pivoted by a 180-degree by unifying service management across all business functions. So Freshservice essentially sits at the center with a layer of conversational intelligence that works on commonly used office communication platforms like Slack and MS Teams. So every incoming employee query or request is either resolved on the fly or it's routed as a ticket or a case to the right contact within the right business function. This is where IT and business agents use some of our powerful AI-powered Freddy Co-pilot capabilities to efficiently resolve these employee requests like champions. Freshservice also integrates with commonly used applications across different business functions, making it work as a single system of engagement platforms for employees and agents, giving a seamless experience to everyone involved in the entire service management cycle. So today we'll go a little deeper into our AI capabilities that are purpose built for agents, or what we call as Freddy Copilot. For that, it's important to understand what agents, and in particular, when I'm talking of business agents, what do they typically go through in a traditional service management setup? So you're likely familiar with the overwhelming influx of cases that typically demand attention of, say, teams like HR, facilities, legal, payroll, accounts payable. And managing a high number of cases isn't just about staying organized, but it's also about maintaining the quality of service under that pressure. Every case represents a unique issue that needs a unique resolution, and it can always feel like they're, always playing catch up. This often slows down their ability to respond promptly and leaving them juggling multiple tasks without a clear path forward. Adding to this, the pressure is a time-consuming nature of building documentation or a strong knowledge base for their individual business functions. While this process is essential, it can eat into their time, pulling them away from more critical, high-impact tasks. And the longer it takes to build a knowledge base, the longer it takes to foster employee self-service, which means essentially more number of cases that come onto these agents, and leading to a snowball effect on their productivity and workload. Besides, repetitive tasks also further compound to this issue, reducing their productivity, making the whole process pretty error prone. And effective collaboration with other teams is another significant challenge. The inability to seamlessly work with colleagues across departments can also lead to a lot of delays. And finally, supporting global teams also adds another layer of complexity. So time zone differences, language barriers, and varying processes can create friction, making it quite difficult to provide consistent support across the organization. And these challenges not just require good technical skills for the business agents, but also involve a lot of cultural nuances, sensitivity, and adaptability to cater to employee requests coming from different parts of the world. So let's quickly understand these challenges better with one of the many real life scenarios that commonly occur at most companies. And these kind of scenarios are likely to become more complex as your organization scales. So every company has an annual renewal cycle for their health insurance or benefits policy, where employees can choose to change their insurer, change the coverage amount. They might want to add or remove dependents like their newborns or parents to their policy. They also have a gazillion queries regarding policy guidelines, what kind of benefits are covered, and the overall process of managing these changes
I think we lost Jatin there. Just give us a few moments. We will just fix this. All right, so let me just quickly share my screen and take over. So Jatin was taking you through, the typical use case during enrollment periods, right? Where especially during these open benefits enrollment periods, you see a spike, and most of these issues are around like what is going to be the deadline for this enrollment period? What are the different benefits available? How can you add dependents? What is the insurance providers you have? Typically very repetitive queries that are going to be coming in, and they can also be, multiple queries around the same topic as well. So this is where your agents are going to get really overwhelmed because suddenly there is going to be a spike in issues, but the number of agents supporting this particular spike is still going to be remaining the same. And apart from handling all of these issues, you also have your desk jobs that you will have to work on, right? And this is why it gets really hard for the business agents to actually handle this particular surge that they see during these open enrollment periods. And this is how the day in the life for business agents would typically look like. So you would see that there is a sudden surge, and all of these issues are hitting the HRBPs. And first of all, to just get this to the right teams becomes a hassle because these inflow of issues go into different teams, and just to bring it all to the HR team and get them to stay on top of it itself becomes a hassle. And after that, when the agents start working on these issues, they are unaware of the fact that there are multiple similar issues being reported on the same topic. Like, let's say, regarding the insurance plans or regarding the retirement plans to be updated. There might be multiple issues coming in regarding the same topic, and all of the different HR agents will be working on this in silos, which results in a lot of redundant efforts. And apart from that, definitely most of the organizations today, they have global teams. So these global teams, they will raise their issues in the language of their choice. So what happens is these support agents, they are not equipped with actually handling these queries in that language, and they'll have to go through the process of translating these queries or having some localized team handle this. So this becomes an added layer of overhead. We have Jatin joining here again. Jatin, would you like to take over, or I can continue as well?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Sorry about that. So we were talking about the challenges typically in a day of business agent's life. I think you've covered till. Let me just start sharing again.
Yeah. We've gone up till, supporting the global queries, so we can start from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apart from that, there is so Emma also struggles to navigate a lot of best practices around managing service desk or adding a lot of attributes to the cases that come to her, and all of that she has to do manually. She often lacks sufficient context, leading to additional time spent in understanding the employee asks and drafting the first response that she has to enter. Emma also realizes that some of the cases that need to be transferred to the benefits and compensation team in this case, and the benefits team is then burdened with long, ticket comment threads, and hence need more time to understand the entire context. To enable self-serve service of similar queries in the future, HRBPs and benefits team also draft documentation, but doing during the enrollment chaos stretch this all this stretches the resources thin across different business teams. So benefits enrollment is just one of such use cases. Imagine the variety of things your business teams typically deal with, right? To summarize, their day is full of siloed manual work with a great lack of context and assistance of any kind, leading to lower productivity, poor service quality, and increased resolution times. Now let's pivot Emma's world to see how Freddy Copilot can help you simplify this entire process. And I'll hand over to Niharika to walk us through the Freddy magic. Yeah, over to you, Nick.
Thanks a lot, Jatin. So Jatin walked us through a typical workday for a business agent, right? And you can see how haphazardous this is when they're not able to work together, they do not have the right tools and the right context to get started with. And this is where Freddy Copilot can come in handy because it can really unlock productivity for your business agents and set them up for efficiency so that they're able to get through their daily workflows in a more effective way. So to get started with, we saw that there was a surge of inquiries coming in, right? And earlier, these were all hitting multiple different teams. And just to get to a point to understand that this is a HR team's, priority to work on was a hassle. But right now, all of these are being reported as cases and they're being assigned to a workspace, which is the HR workspace. And within the HR workspace, there can be multiple different teams that have to coexist. It can be your HR BPs, it can be your benefits team, so all of these teams can work together on within this workspace on this sudden surge of inquiries so that they can collaborate more effectively. And this is just the starting point, right? Now, moving further on, it is important that when a HR agent starts working on a particular issue, they know that there are multiple different similar cases occurring. Like, for example, here, someone needs assistance with updating their health insurance benefits. And the moment Freddie shows that there are multiple such cases being reported where other employees want to know how to change their health insurance benefits or how they have to update their benefits, it is clear to the HR agent that there is one or two things that are happening right now. One is either that this entire portal where they can go and update their benefits, it's not working right, or there is no documentation available for these employees to self-serve. But either ways, the HR agents are able to understand the bigger picture and they are able to, work this out in a more consolidated way. So that is the first step towards ensuring that there is no redundant work happening. And then moving forward, we are ensuring that whenever there are cases coming in multiple languages, these cases they are translated in the language of the agent's choice. So you're empowering your employees to report cases in any language of their choice while you're providing tools for your business agents to quickly translate them and get started with working on them. And we just saw the similar cases that are being reported, right? So in these similar cases, you would have noticed that there is both, unresolved tickets and resolved tickets. Let me just quickly go back. So you can see that there is a list of unresolved tickets, but there is a tab for you to quickly refer to the resolved tickets as well. So this is where your reply suggester the resolution note generator comes in very, very handy because what happens is you can refer to these past cases for quick context to respond with. So what happens is when there are past cases where similar conversations have happened, you can use Freddy and you can quickly summarize that particular case and understand what actions were taken to resolve that particular issue at hand. So that is how Freddy is going to help you save a lot of time from going through multiple ticket threads and understanding the context that you would need to get started with fixing this spike in issues you're seeing in a particular topic. And now that you have all of the context that you need and you know that there is a bigger picture here where there are multiple issues happening, it's time for you to get started with handling the tickets. But you as a HR agent or any agent who belongs to a non-IT team, the service desk is just a part of your job and you don't frequent this as much. So you definitely are not aware of a lot of best practices in your way around the service desk, right? And this is where the Freddy Copilot comes in handy, where it gives you actionable suggestions. And in this case, you can see that in a particular ticket, when there are multiple fields that are to be updated, Freddy will come and give you suggestions on how you have to update these field values so that you don't have to, understand what values are to be added or even spend time on this. And the next part of this is once you've started handling the tickets, the first step is to send out a first response, right? So here again, typically you would have to ensure that a first response is sent very, very quickly. And you can't typically spend a lot of time here because you have multiple issues being reported on the same topic. And you do not really have ample context to understand if this is a problem with your portal or if this is another problem that you need to fix with a different team. So this first response that you have to send out, you can quickly jot down your first order thoughts, like top of your mind thoughts, and you can use Freddy to expand on this. And once you expand on this, you can also ensure that the quality of this response is tweaked in a way that it meets the tone of your audience. Like you can make it casual, you can make it professional. And this way, the first response that you send out is done in a very, very quick time span. And you also ensure that this is a high quality response that you're sending out. And now what happens is it's important that when there is a surge in issues, you have to create a task force. And it is clear that the HRBPs have to now work this out with the benefits team so that there is a task force in place. They can come together, collaborate, and solve all of these similar issues that are coming up. So here again, because you are a HR team and you do not want to go through the entire process of navigating the service desk, and you don't want to create a group from scratch, you can just go talk to Freddy. You can just ask it to create an agent group, add the agents you want, and the task force is good to go. And now when you're handing off these cases to the benefits team to work on, what you could do is you can ensure that all of these tickets are summarized, right? Or even the benefits team, once they start working on this, if they do not want to spend time traversing through this entire ticket thread, they can use Freddy to just quickly summarize what's happened so far. And in some of these cases, you might even be collaborating on Slack or MS Teams to work out a way to resolve these issues. And in this case, you can import all of this collaboration context in and summarize it and add a ticket summary so that when you as a HRBP, you're handing off this particular case to a benefits team, you're able to add the right summary on top. And this saves a lot of time for the benefits team to actually, run through the threads, and they can get started with resolving right away. And now that the task force is in place, they know that it's very important for them to create the help articles. They've identified that the portal is not really at fault. It's just ensuring that there is the right content in place for your employees to quickly refer and fix their own issues. So what they do is that they take Freddy's help, and what would typically take weeks or months to create these articles, right? This is going to be cut short to like minutes. So you just go to Freddy, you put the topic for which you want to draft an article. And in this case, it's about how you can update your benefits section within the portal. And what Freddy will do is that it will use the context from the service desk, like all of the different tickets that you've responded to so far, and any context that is available within your historical tickets, or even public sources that it can reference to. It can quickly use all of this context and create a first draft for you. Now that you have your help article in place, there are two things that is going to happen, right? One is that your agents have the right context to respond with. And again, they do not have to go and actually refer this particular article and then draft a response. What happens is Freddy curates a response whenever there is a similar case that comes in from this help article that you've created. And this way, whenever you send out a first response, it's going to be more contextual. It's going to be rich in information that employees can actually use to fix their issues. And finally, the other aspect to creating the right help content is that employees are now empowered to self-serve. So here again, whenever there are further inquiries coming into the virtual agent will be able to reference this help content from the knowledge base, and it can quickly give out a first response. So you can see two things are happening there, right? Whenever there are similar cases hitting the agents are equipped with the right tools to respond faster. And parallelly, this help content that you create is being used by the virtual agent to deflect similar issues so that the workload can be brought down for the agents itself. So a quick summary of what we've seen so far, right? Like a complete workflow of how a typical day for a business agent changes when they use Freddy Co-pilot. So it starts with, the surge of inquiries coming in, and the HRBP start handling this. And whenever there is going to be cases in different languages, they can quickly translate this and get started. They're able to identify similar cases so that they can collaborate and resolve. And from these similar cases, if there are past issues that's already resolved, they can quickly generate a resolution note, and they can understand what kind of resolution steps were taken in the past so that they have the right context to respond with. And then we move on to handling the tickets faster. And here again, HR agents do not have to be bogged down by not knowing how exactly to navigate themselves through the service desk or the best practices that they have to know. Freddy will help with suggestions like filling out the field values. And even the first response that you have to send out, you do not have to spend too much time here. Just jot down your top of your mind thoughts. And with Freddy, you can expand this out, and you can fix the tone, the quality, and ensure our first response is sent out in no time. And you can quickly create a task force again. You can just talk to Freddy and get this done. You can just create an agent group, add agents to this group. And before you hand off the tickets to the benefits team, you can ensure that ticket summaries are added. And if there's been any collaboration on other apps like Slack or MS Teams, you can import this context and create a summary. And now that you have identified that It is not your benefits portal. You just need the right help content in place. Your team can sit together. They can work with Freddy to create help articles in no time, because Freddy will be able to use the content that is already available within the service desk, that is in the form of ticket discussions and so on. And it will draft a first draft of the article for you, and you can quickly review this and publish it. And two things happen because of this article. One is that when agents try to respond to similar queries, Freddy will curate suggestions for them, which is context rich, using the context available from the help article you created. And also, in addition to that, further inquiries are deflected by virtual agent by using the help article. So this is like an end-to-end use case that we saw, right? Now just double clicking on some specific use cases that you can unlock with the features that we have. So if you take the reply suggester, for example, when it comes to the HR teams, there are some momentary common queries that come through, like what are the upcoming leaves, or what are some of the payroll problems that they face. These are some questions that rises momentarily, and for this, the reply suggester can use the context from queries that are being reported from the recent times, and they can curate response suggestions for you instead of you having to spend time in creating canned responses or help articles. So reply suggester as well can use context from the past tickets that is there within your service desk. And for the facilities teams, again, a lot of momentary issues can occur, like maintenance requests or AC issues, cleaning schedules, things like this, which is just for a period of time. So if you start responding to one or two queries, this context can be used by the reply suggester, and agents who handle similar queries again, they can use the reply suggester to just use the suggestions and they can quickly respond. Now, when it comes to the help article generator for HR teams, you can create HR policies, employee handbooks, onboarding guides, and FAQs. And for facilities team, definitely your standard operating procedures, safety guidelines, equipment manuals. These things can be generated from the public knowledge that is available. You can make some reviews to it, and then you can go ahead and publish it. And when it comes to the ticket summarizer, very specific use cases for HR teams, like when there are grievance requests or like specific employee conversations that are happening, these can be quickly summarized so that HR managers can quickly understand what is happening on this particular ticket instead of spending a lot of time. And when there are a lot of ongoing facilities requests, right, and there's a lot of back and forth that happens in these cases, both in the HR team's case and the facilities team's cases. So these back and forth, you don't have to sit and read through it for quick updates. You can just quickly summarize and understand what's happening. And resolution node generator is an interesting use case, right? Like when it comes to the HR teams, there might be some disputes that occur within your employees, or like some benefits adjustments that you have to do, which are very, very specific cases that occurs for specific employees. So when you add a resolution note here with the help of Freddy's summarization capabilities, what happens is the agents who handle similar queries in the future can quickly come back and see how a particular case was handled in the past, take some context from how the resolution was done, and they can use this for the future cases. Similarly, for facilities team as well, right? Like whenever there is like repair work happening or space reconfigurations or health and safety adjustments, all of these are very, very specific things that happen within a period of time. So here adding resolution records really help, because a particular repair might be one of the kind, and this can be used by an agent to handle issues that come in the future. Similar ticket suggestions largely help you identify patterns in terms of employees' issues. In the case of HR teams, let's say a policy has a lot of issues that are coming in, they can proactively address them. Or if there is equipment that is constantly malfunctioning, or there are like repeated maintenance requests, all of these can be handled proactively by helping your teams identify that there are similar tickets occurring about this particular issue. And in terms of writing assistant itself, this is not something that's restricted to your responses alone. You can use this across announcements, across creating help articles. So you as a HR team, when you're working on drafting a company-wide announcement or policy updates or feedback responses, you can use the writing assistant to like curate all of this with higher quality. And when it comes to facilities teams, similarly, some maintenance updates that you have to send out, safety announcements, all of this, you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can just jot down some pointers, expand on it, fix the quality, and you'll be good to go. So overall, this is how we're empowering business teams to excel with AI, right? So we're helping teams to work together during surges, and we're also providing real-time assistance to help you use the service desk faster and ensure you have ample context for effective resolution. And a lot of manual work is taken over by Freddy Co-pilot so that you can focus on work that really matters. And this way, your productivity goes up, your service quality goes up, and your resolution time goes down as well. So this is largely the impact of Freddy Copilot, and we would like to run a quick pulse check for you because we've discussed a lot and we would like to know if you're interested in a personalized demo. So if you're interested in a personalized demo of let's say the Freddy AI capabilities that we've discussed, or even the business teams capabilities that we've discussed, let us know on this poll here, and we will get back to you right away so that we have one of our people talk to you and help you understand like how exactly it can benefit your organization, your use case. I hope the poll is visible. Let me quickly check that. Perfect. I see a lot of people interested in both. Some in Freddy AI, a few in business teams. That's amazing to know. All right, so while we answer this poll, let's quickly move on to the next part of the webinar, which is how exactly AI the service management across industries. And over to you, Vishal, for you to run everyone through this.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Can you please change the slide? All right, thank you. So as we dive into our discussion so far, it's clear that no matter which industry you are in, one challenge remains consistent across the board: financial pressure and the growing demand to meet and exceed stakeholders' expectations. At Freshworks, we had extensive conversation with our diverse customer base spanning multiple verticals, and this challenge comes up time and again. The pressure to deliver more with fewer resources is a shared experience, but this can be solved with technology, particularly AI. With AI-driven solutions, teams can achieve higher productivity, streamline operations, and meet stakeholder demands without necessarily increasing headcount. This means freeing up your teams to focus more on strategic initiatives, and this is the real value of uh, this is where the real value is unlocked by doing more with less and positioning your organization for sustained success. Nick, can you just change the slide? Let's look at how AI is shaping different industries. Again, we considered only top 5 verticals, but we are seeing an upward trend in almost all industries. As we look at the stats in detail for different industries, we can broadly bucket the impact of AI into 3 key areas: enhanced efficiency and productivity, improved decision making, and cost reduction and resource optimization. So this categories encapsulates how AI is driving significant value across industries, enabling organizations for the long-term success. Next slide, please. Let's see how an AI in ITSM can shape the different verticals. We will use higher education industry as a reference case, but the same principles can be applied to other industries as well. During an admission period, educational institutions experience a significant surge in requests and issues from students coming across the world. The influx of requests in multiple languages further complicate the process, especially for lean IT teams who must collaborate with multiple other departments such as registrar, finance, procurement, and more to effectively manage this high volume of inquiries. Let's see this in action. How can Copilot handle the influx of requests? Over to you, Niharika.
Hey, thanks, Vishal. So as we saw, right, typically in a higher education setup, you would have very, very limited resources in your support teams, and you have to ensure that you optimize their workload. And while you're ensuring that, you also have to provide tools for them that helps them maintain high quality support, especially during the case that Vishal just described, like during admission season, because that is one of the time periods where you have to put your best foot forward, because that is when you actually give the best experience for your students to help them understand that this is a great place for them to come and study in. So that's one of the reasons you have to ensure that your support teams are not overwhelmed and they have the right tools to provide high quality support. And this is how you can do this. And this is, again, a parallel to how HR teams handle surges, right? So again, it is important, especially in the case of a higher ed situation, And especially during admissions, there's going to be multiple different queries coming in that are very similar in nature. It can be something as simple as knowing the status of an application, right? And we're looking at students here who are really excited to join your college, and they really want to know where they stand. And in this cases, there's going to be multiple different, inquiries hitting about these particular cases, like where exactly is my application? So in this case, with the help of Freddy, you can understand what are the different similar issues and service requests being raised. And this can be identified across languages because, again, students are going to be joining you from across the globe, and you have to ensure that they are empowered to raise their issues in the language of their choice. And on your end, you can ensure that you can consolidate the support efforts and you can work on all of these similar issues in a more consolidated way. And again, you can ensure that you can refer to past issues for quick context to respond, because these similar cases will also help you identify what are some of the similar cases that were handled in the past. And a lot of these contexts are very momentary, right? Like you would have had an admission surge, another like a quarter back or a half year back, and you might have missed out on a lot of context that has been exchanged through this period of time. You would have worked on a lot of different projects between the last admissions and now. So this context will really help. So you can just go back to some of your past issues and you can understand what were the actions taken to just quickly, brush up different things that you need to know to help your students out with the right context. And apart from that, you have a lot of documentation to create during admission season. And in this case, especially for some of the recurring issues that come in, like how exactly do I check my application status and things like that. If there are, new such, queries coming in and you see that there is a need for documentation, once you've started responding to some of these queries, you can quickly go and use Freddy to create the documentation for you. It will use the past context and generate the first draft. Like for example, here you can see this query that we've been seeing, right? Right? How to check the status of an admission application. So you would have been responding to it a couple of times. And after this, you can just come here, use Freddy to generate an article. And what happens moving forward is that whenever similar cases come in, now the agents who are working on this, they can quickly use this help article. And here you can see a first response already drafted with the help content. Like, hey, log into the admissions portal and navigate to the application status. And you can, see where your status is. So responses like this are becoming context rich just by creating the right help article. And you can also ensure that your students have a great conversational support to rely on 24/7. So once you have your help content in place, once you have your service catalog in place, what happens is you can enable your conversational intelligence, that is virtual agent, on MS Teams and Slack. And your students can talk to the virtual agent in any language of their choice 24/7. And this help content that is available helps the virtual agent to provide a first line of support. So this is how you can ensure that you're optimizing workload while you're also maintaining quality. But now the next part to this is empowering your contract workers with assistance, because when it comes to a higher education firm, there can be multiple occasional agents who join in, some advisors who join in, part-time people who just come in to manage your surges, right? So these are typically either contract workers or anyone who's just going to be working with you for a small period of time. So they need a lot of assistance to get around the service desk and manage the different tickets. And this is where a lot of our features can come in handy, because the likes of ticket summary generator, especially because your part-time agents are going to be having very limited time to work on tickets. These summary generators cuts down the time that they have to take to actually traverse through multiple ticket threads and understand what's been happening. And also, they need a lot of context because they are not going to be as good as the different agents who are there as a part of your team full time. So ensuring that all of your tickets have these resolution notes added with the help of Freddy helps them to reference past issues and have the right context to respond with. And again, all of these contract workers, they do not know their way around the service desk. And the likes of field suggestions here would come in really handy because they do not know what priorities to assign, what urgencies to assign. And Freddy can actually go ahead and analyze all of the past tickets that's come in and provide these suggestions beforehand. And this way, these workers do not even have to worry about handling the tickets this way. And also any administrative tasks that come in, right? Like, again, in terms of creating an admission group, This they can do very seamlessly by just talking to Freddy. So they just ask for Freddy to create the group, and then they can just add multiple agents to it, and they should be good to go. So this is how we simplify a lot of administrative tasks by enabling the agents to just converse and get things done. And also, all of these contract workers, again, they have limited time and they do not want to scramble across different help articles and find the right context to respond with. And this is what is solved with the help of reply suggestions and response suggestions, because Freddy uses the context that is available on the existing tickets, in addition to the context that is available on help articles, to curate response suggestions for these agents. And this way, in the limited time that they have, they can send out first responses or even like responses that are really helpful for the students right away without any formal training or without having to scramble through different documentation that is available. Now that's about how you can support your contract workers, right? And now moving on to the fact that you have global students joining you and you have to ensure that you can support them in the language of their choice. And here again, you can empower your students to raise their issues in any language of their choice that is supported by our service desk, while we ensure that Freddy Copilot can translate these issues for your agents. And this way, your agents are empowered to handle your tickets faster in no matter what language it is being reported in. And your students are also empowered to report all of their issues or raise their issues in the language of their choice. And again, when it comes to the response suggestions that we just discussed, these response suggestions can be generated in any language of your choice. And this way, when you are curating these quick responses, you're not restricted to just English or just one of these languages. So based on the language of the incoming query, you can use Freddy to just quickly generate a response using the help content available or the context available on your past tickets, and you can move forward with the resolution. And the help content itself can be generated in any language in no time with the help of Freddy. This again is going to help you ensure that whenever your students hit up your portal, right, which is very common, especially in educational firms, where your students frequent your portal a lot, you can ensure that some of the top queries have help content created in multiple languages so that it can cater to a global set of students that are coming in and looking for help. And again, a virtual agent can provide 24/7 assistance in any language of the student's choice. And this way, even when your support teams are not available, they're able to just talk to virtual agent and get their issues fixed. Now, the same scenarios, you can see them manifest across different industries, right? Because the three key areas that you have to focus on, especially during surge times, is that you have to optimize the load on your teams whenever there are surges, and you also have to ensure that you're able to maintain quality. And whenever these surges happen, or whenever there is a change happening within your particular organization, there are multiple occasional agents who come in, contract workers who come in, advisors who come in, and you need to empower them. And you also have to ensure collaboration, not just with them, but also with the rest of your teams. And you have to ensure that you're able to support your global end users in any language of their choice. Now, some of the use cases that we can look at across different industries is, let's take a manufacturing company, right? And you know how important assembly lines are. And when there are major disruptions with such automated assembly lines, especially in your international plants, you first have to ensure that all of the issues that are being reported are being supported in the language of choice. And whenever there is a temporary expert maintenance team coming in, they are provided with the right tools to get the right context and get started with resolving these issues to avoid further production delays. Now, when it comes to the healthcare industry, if you're a multinational healthcare provider, and let's say you're implementing a new patient management system or any new implementations that you have to do across your global hospitals, what happens is you will have your central IT support teams or even your local IT support teams, but you will have other consultants coming in. And during these major surges, you have to ensure that these teams are equipped with the right tools to promptly address issues, because all of the patient data is managed on these systems and it has to be done faster so that healthcare is being provided to the patients at the right time. And government agencies, you all know that government agencies are facing common people, and this has to be inclusive in nature. So whenever you have any major changes coming in, like for example, you're changing your national tax filing system or any systems that are running as a part of your governments itself, and any technical issues that are happening as a part of these systems, you have to ensure that your support teams are able to support all of these different people who report these issues in the language of their choice. And I'm sure that these teams are very lean in nature as well. So having the right productivity tools and having the right tools in place to handle these searches in the right way is also extremely critical, so that all of these end users who are raising these issues, we're able to process their issues without any delays. And when it comes to financial institutions, let's say you're a global bank and you have audits happening, and audits are a constant thing that happens across your branches, right? Now, audit teams are going to be coming in for a very limited period, so they do not have a lot of time at hand. So when they have to monitor compliance related tickets, things like ticket summary generator comes in very handy, where they can just quickly summarize tickets and understand what's happening. And also across the different banks that you maintain, especially when you're a global financial institution, you can ensure that all of your different end users are supported in the language of their choice, all of your different teams are collaborating right, and they're set up for productivity. And we have a lot of customers across industries as well, right? Like, for example, we have Porsche, who have been using our Freddy AI powered virtual agent, and they've been seeing a lot of value from this because they're now able to deliver intelligent user-centric IT support. We have Mahindra, who's been using Freddy Co-pilot's automatic solution article generation, and it has made knowledge creation a breeze for almost 1,000 engineers in their organization. And we have Live Oak Bank, which has been using our virtual agent again, and this has helped them enable self-service very effectively. And Crown Office, which is a government institution, and they have been using our self-service capabilities, and this has really helped them tick a lot of boxes within their organization. And we have TaylorMade as well, again, using our virtual agent capabilities to ensure that self-service is enabled right within their organization. So a lot of different, organizations we've seen across different industries who's using both our Freddy Copilot and Freddy self-service capabilities. And we've also deep dive into a lot of different use cases where Freddy AI capabilities can be used. And the key takeaway remains the same, right? And it remains the same across all of these industries and across all of these use cases, that you need a unified service management solution where you can manage all of your different business teams. And you have to ensure that these are AI powered so that you're able to set up a modern workplace experience. And that's what we've been doing so far with Freddy Copilot. And these are some results that we've seen from our existing customers. And this is according to our Freshservice benchmark report. We've seen about 39% increase in the first response time with reply suggester, a 32% decrease in average resolution time with ticket summary generator, and a 15% decrease in average resolution time using help article generator. And this is why you need to get started with a modern workplace experience today. And these are the different things that can help you accomplish that. You can streamline your service delivery with case and knowledge management. You can safeguard your HR data, control autonomy with workspaces. You can elevate agent and employee experiences with Freddy Copilot and Freddy Self-Service. You can centralize all of your resources with document management, automate employee journeys with HR workflows, and you can also automate a lot of different processes with integrations